Alright, what is up? What is good, gamers? It is a lovely Sunday morning. I am having my coffee. And I'm about to read One Piece, which is about as good as a Sunday morning gets in my book. This is chapter 1169. We see here a lovely color spread of the Rocks Pirates. I think this is the first time a lot of them have been seen in color. I'm sure they'll get a volume cover later as well. But we've kind of moved past these guys in the actual flashback story here. It has finally returned to being a Elbaf-based flashback, as it was promised to be at the very start. We were actually learning the story of Loki and Harold and all of that good stuff, as we expected. The last chapter ended kind of right before the motivating action of this entire flashback. That makes me think, this could actually all be over in this chapter. We could return to present day by the end of this chapter. There's not that much left to uncover. Depends on kind of how much depth they want to give this final confrontation, where Harold has seemingly been possessed by Emu remotely. This is a side effect of him taking the Abyssal Pledge. Now Emu gets to snap her fingers and take over your body. He calls in all the guards fight him to death, and this is the grisly scene that Loki witnesses when he shows up at the castle. Okay, so given that, yeah, I don't know how much of these fights are going to be depicted. It doesn't really seem like a fight in the proper sense, more just sort of a tragic inevitability. We already know what's going to happen there. The chapter title is "My Death Cannot Come Soon Enough." Okay. We start off by returning to a scene that we saw several Matryoshka layers earlier in the flashback. Shanks, notably now with the scar on his eye. This is after Blackbeard fought him and gave him that scar. We don't really know the circumstances of that yet. May have something to do with Shanks abandoning his undercover mission in Marijois. I don't know. Hearing about Ace, Roger's son. That's what Garp told me, at least. I like that Garp just knew. Did not tell anyone else in the Navy. Only much, much later did that come to life. Come to light, sorry. It's like a little brother to me. You and Buggy were our sons. He's got Captain Roger's blood, then I guess he'll be the next generation's king of the pirates. So this is, of course, before he meets Luffy. Which, again, I had always wondered, how much of going to Windmill Village was intentional. Because he knew Luffy was there, he wanted to meet Luffy, and how much it was just total coincidence, circumstantial thing. Here it kind of seems like maybe he was going to see if Ace was still there. And that meeting Luffy was still coincidental, although him being there wasn't coincidental, if that makes sense. It ain't a hereditary position. Sometimes those with the greatest expectations on them fail to achieve that greatness. Interesting, interesting. Makes life so fun and unpredictable. They're just having a good time, chilling in Elbaf. You can see the castle in the background. Very ominous. Yeah. Meanwhile, the fateful scene at Elbaf's Aurust Castle. Loki leaps down. Jarl is here as well. Coming to chain you up like you said. Why did I cut down my guard like that? It was like my body moved on its own. To fill Emu's orders to eliminate those who would stop me. So right now he's in like a middle stage where he's not being demonified. His body isn't totally possessed. But he's not in control of his own body either. Then in these moments where I guess, yeah, there's like definite commands given by Emu. he acts without thinking, without being able to stop himself. I am incapable of fighting back. Can those orders alter my very thoughts for the rest of my life? For as long as I continue to live, my presence will only make this country worse. My body is a blight upon its safety. It was a waste. It was all for nothing. 144 years of life down the drain. My death cannot come soon enough. Jesus. It's heavy, man. This is fucked up. It's like... I like that Elbaf was one of the most kind of hyped up, in-demand locations in the entire world of One Piece. This is what we were waiting for, perhaps more than any other island besides Laugh Tale. And when we got there, we learned about all the awesome giants, and it lived up to the hype, and I just went totally blurry for some reason. Hello? Can you focus? So weird. Okay. That was odd. It lived up to the hype, and we learned about the giants, the hereditary ruling, and all of these awesome old chief giants and stuff. And now, all of that is being leveraged to make us hate the world government even more. To make us even more against Emu. As if we needed it, but it just really goes to show, like, how devilish an antagonist Oda wants us to find the repulsive Emu, you know? Like, we've had all sorts of other tragic flashbacks, ones that make us hate Spandam, ones that make us hate CP9 and NL, and, you know, this is a staple of One Piece arcs. But here it's like, this isn't even this arc's antagonist. This isn't even, you know, something that's kind of directly resolvable within Elbaf. This isn't something that we're going to deal with as soon as we transition out of the flashback. You know, the most extreme example of that, we saw the flashback that made us hate Wapol even more, while Wapol was getting punched by Luffy. This isn't like that. This is like planting one of many seeds, you know, this long pattern of hating the world government more and more and more across a lot of these different flashbacks. But here, it's like, nah, this is the true enemy, the enemy of all enemies. All right, so this is the scene. At his request, they all stab him. Truly am immortal. I can feel my body recovering. What can I do to die? Someone help. Terrifying. Terrifying. Harold and I have shined the shallowest of the covenants with this great one in Marijois. Even with this shallow's covenant, can't resist as long as we're within that freak's range. That freak. So yeah, this confirms retcon, or like anti-retcon. The retcon, you could argue, oh, Shanks turned out to be so powerful. How the hell did he get his arm bitten off by some random ass Neptunian, Sea King, whatever, big sea monster? Don't make no sense. Retcon of retcon. He intentionally let his arm get bitten off. It was a symbolic act, but also a very practical act to get the Shallow's Covenant off of his body so that Emu could not take over his body in some crucial moment where he's in Emu's vicinity. Once we were out of the Holy Land, we finally had a chance to talk openly. Harold was delighted about... Yeah, that's nice. Because he really acted like a jerk to Harold there. It was like, I never met you. I'm not a pirate. I'm a fancy boy. So yeah, he explains. This was part of his plan as well, to abandon his spot So Harold could get in. To do that, he has to sign the next level of this covenant. Is that bad or something? Oh, you can see his kid back there. There's Colin. Colin is a little baby. Very cute. Through the covenant, the Holy Knights gain superhuman strength and an undying body, as well as the ability to generate an abyss, a means of traveling long distances. But in exchange, no matter where you are, you cannot defy the orders of the Great One, whose voice will reach you at any range. So if he agrees, the covenant, Harold will be forced to do what those people say. Knowing how greedy they are, they can't imagine they would keep their word and give them what they promised. Dude, it's too late. It's too late. You're saying all this shit way too late. Oh, man, Shanks. I like this because this is kind of a little story of Shanks' blunder. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had all these schemes of taking advantage of his bloodline to infiltrate Marijois and learn all this stuff. And he kind of worked with Harold in a way that he thought was mutually beneficial. He thought there was a way for Elbaf to get what they wanted and obviously not end up in this scenario. But that was naive of him. And I think we gotta reflect on the fact that Shanks is still kind of like a kid, relatively. This is 14 years ago. He's, what, like late 30s, early 40s-ish now? So, I don't know. He was in his 20s. He was a young fool. But yeah, I think he, like, basically was a little naive and kind of got this very ambitious scheme in mind. But he didn't realize that some of this stuff would happen too slowly. And him saying, I don't think he should join the Holy Knights, like, days after he already did it and came back to Elbaf. And, you know, the sleeper cell was activated. The Manchurian candidate was kicked into gear. Is, pretty... You feel pretty stupid now, huh, Buster? But I think this is kind of the story of Shanks, right? That when we see him, he's got this scar, he loses his arm, he's been through some stuff, and he is not like the true inheritor of the era. Luffy's gonna be. He bets the straw hat on Luffy. It's interesting here that Shanks doesn't have the straw hat, by the way. When does he get that? Because Roger's already dead and gone. But anyways, I think, I don't know, it's quite a nice little narrative when you put it all together. Like, if the story of Shanks had been the focus of the manga and told in a chronological order, I think it is, like, quite an interesting character portrait, right? Like, kind of, like, aiming for these insane ambitions to try to right the wrongs of the world and live up to Roger, this kind of man he admires, but his bloodline is of evil, and his true father is this horrible man, but he can't really make it all happen. He can't get back to Raftel, to Laugh-Tale. He can't totally kill his father. He can't avenge himself against Blackbeard. He tries to save Ace. He can't. He bets his arm on Luffy, you know, like, I don't know. It's quite interesting. And this is just another one where it's like he's not quite enough. All the best intentions and all of his power isn't quite enough. What am I supposed to react to first? The fact that you haven't died with all those wounds, or the fact that you're trying to kill me in the castle guards? Where's this monster strength coming from? Happened to you, Harold. Come back to your senses. We're going to see Jarl fight. I'm excited. Jarl hasn't really had an opportunity to do too much since the Big Mom flashback, where didn't go so good for him and his buddy. Help stop the king. He's been taken by madness. Okay. So here, it must be that damn Loki. Immediately, the situation is misunderstood. They pin down Harold. Chief Jarl, I've made a terrible mistake. Very soon, I will lose my mind. I killed my own guards that I used joining the world government as an excuse to do their dirty bidding. Ultimately, they lied to me, and look at me now. I'm about to hand over the people of Elbaf to the government to be their slaves in battle. Whoa, okay. This is where the devil fruit comes into play. This mysterious, legendary devil fruit being kept secret and hidden in Elbaf. Feed the treasure of Elbaf to Loki. With the power of God, I will be unstoppable. Elbaf being enslaved to the government is the very antithesis of my dream. That makes me the worst king in the history of Elbaf. Okay. So you must kill me to take the throne, Loki. Tell the people what a fool of a king I was. Kill me and be a hero. I see. Okay. This is not how it goes. This is so fucking tragic, man. That Harold wants to sacrifice his entire reputation and basically just completely fall on his sword and say this was all my fault. I not even I got tricked, but I am a selfish, evil man, such that Loki can truly inherit the goodwill that was built up and be a true king of Elbaf. Once I'm dead, my reputation means nothing to me. All that matters is Elbaf's future. Am I wrong? Please, Loki, the only one that can do it. Okay. I mean, still raises the question of how the hell do you kill him? Only one that can do it. He slashes everyone away, leaps out again. So strong. Criminals within the castle. Seal the front gate. But I am Harold, and I am now a vassal of the Great One. No one shall escape the tale of what happened here. I will give this country over to Emu. He just told me to eat it, yeah. I like that they call out exactly how insane this must feel to Loki and Jarl. Because, like, to us, the reader, we understand this transformation. We understand that he's losing his mind page by page. He's becoming corrupted. He's being commanded by Emu. But to them, yeah, it's extremely jarring. You just told me to eat it. If you eat that fruit, it will be the end of the world, Harold. Do it, Loki. Make sure Harold doesn't get that fruit. Oh. And this is where Jarl gets the sword through his skull. Gave me that blade years ago, Jarl. Now you can have it back. I'll eat that fruit and take Ragnir for myself. You cannot have it. Loki sprinting off. Oh, man. So Jarl must be pretty crazy, because he does get a big stab in here. Okay. And then they arrive. Shanks with a huge fucking sword. Gaban, of course, with his axes. The helmet saved my life. I love that line, man. That's such a funny joke to throw back in here again. The helmet saved his life. It makes no sense. Oh, God. Oh, man. This is crazy. The worst case scenario has come to pass. Undying body is a beautiful thing. A wonderful thing. I feel superior to all other life. Okay. He arrives. He goes to pick up the devil fruit, which is in a relatively like nonchalant room. It's the like lock that comes off here. It's not as grandiose as you'd think. But the giants have like a certain kind of like primitive rusticness to them, I suppose. And then the hammer animates itself and flies up to try to hit Loki. Interesting. So this takes us all the way back to way earlier in this arc, where Luffy and Zoro are being tested by Gabon in this very same room, right? So we will see what happens. Plot's moving quite linearly now after our crazy Matryoshka flashbacks. Some awesome scenes here. We learn a lot more about the pledges and stuff, the covenants. A lot of stuff explained, but very, like, kind of incidentally as this story just, like, ramps up further and further. So yeah. As I said, not a whole lot to cover left before we return to the present. Crazy stuff. All right. See you next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. I don't know. We might be on break. Either One Piece is on break or just Jump itself is on break. I can't remember. But I might see you in the new year. So happy 2025. Please look forward to more chapters of One Piece in 2026. The good times keep rolling. See you then. Bye-bye.